to Chris Cook for YouTube. Today I'm going to be doing a lemon cake as per a request from one of my viewers. She asked me if I could get it in before Thanksgiving, so I told her I would try. So I'm going to bake it. I think most of the ingredients you already have in your kitchen, but if you don't, you will only have to add to what you already have a few ingredients. So let's get started with what you're going to need to make this delicious homemade moist cake. You're going to need, I'm using Swan's Down cake flour. You can use any kind of cake flour that you choose to use. You're going to need sugar, buttermilk, baking powder, lemon. You need the juice and the zest from one lemon, lemon extract. You're going to need 3 eggs. Now you're going to need butter and salt for the cake, but you also need butter and salt for the frosting. So you're going to need butter, salt, milk, cream cheese, lemon. Again, you're going to need the zest and the juice from the one lemon, and you're going to need confectioner sugar for the frosting. I'm also going to add a little bit of food coloring, yellow food coloring, just to give it more of a yellow look, but you really don't need that. You can add it if you choose to. If you don't, you don't have to. Now go ahead and set your oven for 325 so it can preheat, and I'm going to get together everything that I need, and I'm going to meet you at my mixer. I'll be right back. Okay, now this part of the procedure is really gonna be the longest because you have to allow your butter and your sugar to cream together for 5 minutes. I just want to show you that here I've already added all of my dry ingredients. This is my salt, my cake flour, and my baking powder. That's already added. I'm going to give this a little stir because you're going to alternate this with your buttermilk when you get to that part of your ingredients, but we're not there yet. So here is my sugar. So what I'm going to do is to start my mixer. I'm going to cream together my butter and my sugar while slowly adding my sugar to this. I'm going to allow it to cream for 5 minutes. I'm not going to keep you here while I do this. Then I'm going to bring you back and we'll go through to the next part of the process. So I'm just going to show you. You're just going to slowly add your sugar, which means you wouldn't just dump it all in at one time. And you'll allow this to mix for 5 minutes. Now it needs that 5 minutes worth of mixing, because that's gonna do a lot of things. It's gonna blend it well together. It's gonna help to get the air out of it, and it's also going to make your cake very, very moist. So you need that. So let it just go ahead and do its job. If you're holding a hand mixer, you might get a little bit tired, but if it's one that's on a stand, just let it go ahead and mix for 5 minutes. So what I'm going to do is at the end of the 5 minutes, I'll bring you back and then we'll continue with this process. Then we're going to add our eggs, which is 3, one at a time. Now, as always, I'm going to put your instructions in the bottom of the tutorial so you don't have to worry about that. This is going to be a 2-layer lemon cake. I'm not going to frost the cake, but I am going to show you how to make the frosting. Reason I'm not going to frost it is because this is going to be my cake for Thanksgiving, and I'm making this very early. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to freeze the layers, and you can make this up to 2 months out. So I'm going to show you how to freeze the layers, and then once I get ready to frost it, I will frost it like the day of Thanksgiving or maybe the night before Thanksgiving. So I'll bring you back as we move along. Be right back. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes and my butter and my sugar is creamed together very well. I did scrape the bowl a couple of times, and that's about it. Now I need 3 eggs, and I'm going to add these eggs one at a time, mixing between every egg that I put in. So that was my first egg. I'm going to mix this a little bit. I'm going to stop my mixer right here, and I'm going to clean down my walls on the the cake mixer. And I don't know why I didn't use the blade that scrapes the bowl as I go. I really didn't think about it. So if you're using that particular blade, you don't have to scrape down the walls. But if you don't have it, which I do have it, I just didn't use it. It looks like this. That's the way it looks. If you have it, you can use this one, because then you don't have to scrape down the walls. But I didn't use it, so that's my second egg that I'm putting in. And if you can see, the texture of this cake is really, really fluffy. And what helped to get it to that point was the fact that I mixed the butter and the sugar. I creamed it together for that 5 minutes. That's crucial in this particular cake. You don't want to overbake this cake, because if you overbake it, you're going to dry it out. So it's 1 hour at 325 in your oven if you're going to use a tube pan. If you're going to use just layer cake pans, it's going to be 40 minutes. And you can test it with a knife, or you can test it with a toothpick. You know that if your toothpick or your knife comes back clean, then your cake is done. If it comes back with something on it, then you need a little bit more cooking time. Okay, that is my third egg that I just put in. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to alternate the I'm going to alternate the flour and the buttermilk. Now this cake is really, really creamy, fluffy. Looks really, really good in this pan. I'm going to stop it again. And I didn't have to do all this stopping if I had put the right blade on here. But that happens. And I was in a rush to try to get this cake out. So, but if you look at it, it looks a lot like whipped cream. It looks really, really good. So I'm going to start that back up. And I have my mixer on low. Now I'm going to start to add my flour and my buttermilk, and I'm going to alternate that until everything is all incorporated. Add my lemon extract. Now for this cake, I do want to say this: you don't have to use lemon extract. You don't have to use any extract at all. Don't have it, don't worry about it. And your cake is still going to be good, because it's made with the lemon juice and the lemon zest. I like it more lemony. So I'm not going to use a lot of lemon extract. I want to pour that last little buttermilk in there. But I am going to use some lemon extract. Okay? And I want my cake to look just a little bit more lemony, so I'm going to show you what I'm going to do there. I'm going to go ahead and put in, that's about a half of a teaspoon, might be a fourth of a teaspoon of lemon extract, and it smells so lemony and so good. So it's at this point that I'm going to put in a couple of drops of my yellow food color. You don't have to do that. I'm doing it because I want it to be just a little bit more yellow in color. I put in 4 drops. Alright. So it's at this point that your cake is really done and it's ready to go into your greased and floured pans, but you got one more step to this process, and that is you want to stir in or fold in, either way you want to do it, your lemon zest and your lemon juice. At this point, you're going to use 2 tablespoons of lemon zest. You're going to use 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and that's one of the reasons why it's not necessary for you to use the use the lemon. But if you like more of a tart taste, and that's really what I like, then you can go ahead and use it. So I'm going to remove this mixer. Man, that cake tastes good. And of course I had to taste. So it's at this point that I'm going to go ahead and add in my lemon juice, 2 tablespoons. And I have my pan sitting over here. I'm going to get my pans real quick. Yeah, that's a little bit underdone. So there. That's 2 tablespoons of that. And then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of, trying to set my pans down. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of the zest. And I'm going to stir it all at once. Okay, so here's my lemon zest. So that's 1. And that's 2. Okay, now I'm going to stir this. Look at that cake. That cake looks good. The batter looks real good. And I'm going to put equal amounts in both pans. Now, I've stayed with you this whole while. So there's no excuse on this cake. Because if you follow exactly what I did, exactly what you saw me to do, then your cake should come out exactly like my cake should come out. Now, I use the reason why you don't see flour in this is because I use the spray. And it has the flour already in it. So if you want to use it, I know Pam makes it. And I think Baking Joy makes the spray with the flour in it strictly for baking. If you want to just spray your pans, you can do that. If not, you could just go ahead and flour and, or butter and flour, or oil and flour your pans the way they did old school. Okay, so you want to look at this and make sure that you're getting equal amounts. And I'm using 10-inch baking pans. I'm going to hold up on that a minute before I put it in, because I'm going to see which one of my pans is running just a little bit short. So I set that there. So now I'm going to put it around in my pan. Do the same thing with the other one. Okay, now this one looks like it may be the little bit short one, so I'm going to take the rest of that batter and I'm going to put it into that cake pan. There you have it. So while these cakes are baking, then I'm going to show you how to make the frosting, but I'm not going to frost my cakes. So you will just see it when I take it out. When you take these cakes out of the oven, you're going to allow them to sit in the pan for 10 minutes before you remove them and put them on a rack. So allow them to sit there. Now, the only other thing I'm going to do, and I'm an old school baker, so I've been doing this all my life. I'm a bouncer. What am I doing? Releasing any bubbles that may be inside of this pan so that I don't cut into my cake and then I get a big air pocket. Okay? So that's done. Now they're going to go into the 325-degree oven for 40 minutes, and I'll bring you back when these cakes are done. Be right back. Okay, now I'm back, and I have the my butter and my cream cheese already, and it's kind of like room temperature. So I have it in my mixer already, so I'm just going to start it to go. Now what you want to do is you want to blend your butter and your sugar. I'm sorry, you want to blend your cream cheese and your butter. Still got my mind on that. You want to blend that until it's well incorporated. And then you're going to add the rest of your ingredients. And the ingredients is so simple. The only thing that you have your butter and your cream cheese in here. And I'm going to do just a little bit more because I want like more frosting on my cake than is actually required for this recipe. So I'm blending just a little bit more. The only thing that you have to add to your cream cheese and your butter is just going to be your confectionery sugar, which I have sitting on the side, and then some lemon zest, some lemon juice. If it's too thick for you, then you can add some milk. And it doesn't matter what kind of milk you add. You can add some carnation milk if you want to. You can add some whole milk, some 2% milk, but you just have to add some milk. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this beat for like, I don't know, maybe about a minute. And then I'll bring you back and we'll add the rest of the ingredients and make the frosting for the cake. And that'll be it. Okay, now I'm going to stop this and show you just how it'll cream together. Okay, look at that. That's for your frosting. And that is just your butter and your cream cheese. But I wanted to use a lot more because I wanted it to be like fluffy on my cake. So now that we have that incorporated, we're going to go ahead and start to add our other ingredients. We're going to add the confectioner sugar. And if it gets like too thick, that's when we're going to start to add the milk to it. But we don't need to do that now. We're going to keep on adding sugar. And I'll put your ingredients, like I said, at the bottom. Because I'm using more than what the recipe actually called for, my amounts are going to be different. Like what you see me putting into this frosting is going to be different than what you would actually use. If you just want a normal, and it depends on too how you want your frosting to be. Whether you want your frosting to be fluffy or you want your frosting to be more looser or a little bit more runnier, or whatever consistency you want. That milk is going to give you that. So if this is just too much fluff for you, then just go ahead and add some milk. And the only thing the milk is going to do is release this fluffiness from it, and it's going to make it more creamier, so it will kind of pour down a little bit more. But because I have to add the lemon juice to this, and I have to add 2 tablespoons, which what I'm about to do now, I don't really feel that I need to. If I add that's lemon juice, if I add some of the milk, it's not going to be a lot. I only have a little bit more left, so I'll just go ahead and pour that in there. You know me, I don't throw away nothing. And then I'm going to go ahead and add my zest to that as well. And that's 2 tablespoons of zest too. Because when you add the zest to any frosting, whatever you add, whether it be orange zest or it be lemon zest or whatever zest you add to it, you're going to get that burst of flavor in your bites. So that will be something that you will probably want. Now I'm going to take this up. Look at that. I don't want this to be, move this and bring it out. Okay, you see that frosting? I don't want my frosting to be any looser than that. So I'm not going to add any milk. But what I am going to do is I am going to taste, and you always want to taste your frosting. Man, that is really good. But I think I need some more sugar. So I'm going to add some more powdered sugar to this. And I only want to show you how to do it. I'm not going to frost my cake. I am going to show you how to wrap that cake so that that cake will be just as moist when you take it out of the freezer as it was when you took it out of the oven. So I'm going to add about 2 more of these tablespoons. Now this was a real simple frosting to make, and I took you through this cake, so this cake should be fail-proof when you get ready to try it. All you have to do is do exactly what you've seen me do. And if you're making a little bit more frosting, I would go and spill some of it. Some of it pop back out of my mixer, but that's okay. If you're going to make the frosting as much as I'm making because you want it fluffier on your cake, please make certain that you taste it as you go, which is exactly what I did. Now that's about it. I didn't have to put any milk in there, but what I am going to do, I want it to be yellower, so I'm going to add some food coloring until I get it where I want to get it. Now do your foods for you want your Thanksgiving Day table and your Christmas table to be a hit. So always do your foods when you have time to do it. Don't come in tired and say, oh my goodness, I'm going to go ahead and do this cake. I'm going to go ahead and do these greens. I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to go ahead and do that. That's not the time to do it, because I guarantee you, you'll mess something up. So it's best to do it when you have the time to do it. So I'm going to cut this off because this frosting is made. Look at that frosting. Now that's perfection. And I put the yellow food coloring in, to give me more of a lemon look. And that's exactly what it is. So this is made. The cake is still in the oven. When the cake comes out, I'm going to show it to you. Not going to frost it, but I've taken you through this procedure, and this is a real good cake. You can trust me on this. You don't have to worry about messing it up, because if you do what I did, you're going to get the same results. And I tell you this over and over again. If you do exactly what I do, you're going to get the same results that I'm going to get here at my house. So I'll be back once I pull this cake out. Be right back. Okay, now these cakes, I've just taken them out of the oven and they are ready. I think they look ready to me. See, there's nothing on that toothpick. There's nothing on that toothpick. Now they have to cool in the pan for 10 minutes. Don't do anything. After the end of 10 minutes, I'm going to bring you back and show you exactly how to wrap these so that they'll be just as moist in the oven as when you get ready to do them for your holiday. They'll be super moist. You won't have to worry about it. But give it 10 minutes in the pan, and then we're going to flip it out, let it cool on a rack for the remainder of the time until it almost cools, and then I'm going to show you what to do. But they smell delicious. So I'll bring you back at the end of, I'm going to let it cool, but I'm going to take it out of the pan and let it cool, and I'll bring you back at the end of that time and show you exactly what to do. Be right back. Okay, now I'm back, and I was going to put the cakes on a rack and let them finish cooling, but these cakes they're in like a warm state, and that's where you want them. You don't want them real hot, but you do want them still in a warm state, and it's just barely warm. So I'm going to turn them out. I didn't even go around the edges of that. I don't know what I was thinking, but it came out perfectly. So I'm going to take this. I have some saran wrap. Yours would be saran wrap. Mine is just a big roll of plastic. And you want to wrap this in plastic. Okay? You want to wrap it all around in plastic. Then you want to seal it up as much as you can. If you can't seal it, get another piece of plastic, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Okay, and I'm going to put this plastic the other way, because you want this to be totally wrapped in plastic. So you see my edges right here, they're not wrapped. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this the other way, this way, and I'm going to finish wrapping it. Turn it. Okay. Now, this cake is totally wrapped in plastic. Now, it's still a little warm, not hot. Warm, but it's totally wrapped in plastic. Then what you want to do is you want to take a thick piece of aluminum foil. If you don't have a thick piece of aluminum foil, you can just take 2 pieces, which is exactly what I did. You want to put it together and you want to wrap it over. Cover it totally. Okay, now you can stick this in your freezer. Once you seal up your sides, you can stick it in your freezer like that. But I'm going to try to put it in this plastic bag. I don't know, because this cake was a 10-inch cake. I don't know if this plastic bag is big enough for me to actually get this cake down over in, but I'm going to try. Anyway, if it's not, then it's going to go in my freezer like that. It don't look like to me like it is. I'm going to try this other plastic bag. The other plastic bag. I'm going to try this one. If it don't go in it, it's okay. It don't really have to go in it, because I got it sealed up enough, whereas I can put it in my freezer just like this. If I didn't have these gloves on, I bet you to go in there. Be glad to go in there. Okay. It'll go. I may need to take these gloves off because I can't work with. I can't work like I need to work. Now, I am not squashing my cake, so don't go to sending me no letters. You squashed the cake? No, I didn't. And I'll probably take a picture of the cake and just go ahead and post it anyway, because you'll see it. Okay. Now, when you get ready to take this cake out, to avoid all of that, you can just cut the bag open. You ain't going to use the bag no more. Now, that cake is ready to go in the freezer. Now, one other thing I want to tell you. When you take this cake out of the freezer, when you get ready to take it out, do not unwrap it right away, because there's going to be condensation on this cake. Condensation is just sweat bubbles. So don't unwrap it. Let all of your sweat bubbles go on your aluminum foil. So once the cake calms down to where you can put your frosting on it, and some people don't frost when the cake is real warm. They frost when their cake is kind of partially, cold or partially frozen. And the reason why they do that is because they put a crumb layer on it, and then they put their icing on it so it won't have any crumbs in it. So if that's the way you're going to do it, allow all of your sweat bubbles to go on this aluminum foil. Once it goes on the aluminum foil and you unwrap it, there won't be any sweat bubbles on your cake, because the aluminum foil has it all. And that let it calm down to room temperature, or let it calm down to just whatever you think your frosting consistency, your cake should be for your frosting consistency. Let it go to that, and then you go ahead and you frost your cake. But it's better to frost your cake if you're using a light frosting. It's much better to frost your cake semi-frozen or very cold, because if you frost it then, the frosting is gonna adhere to the cake and it won't pull crumbs up. But if you frost it when the cake is warm, you're gonna pull up those crumbs, and you're gonna have a crummy, kind of not looking so great cake on your hands. Okay, now this just needs to be, and I can go away and do this. This just needs to be sealed up, but I have to take these. There, I think I did it. I need to take these gloves off because I can't work with plastic to plastic and just sliding all over the place. So that cake is ready. Put that cake in your freezer for a couple of months, and you don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to try this one more time. And I didn't even go around the cake like this. I just pulled the cake up. That just shows you, it wasn't sticking or doing anything. I just pulled it up. I haven't gone around it with this. I started to, and then I stopped because it looks like it's loose. So I'm going to try to bring it up. Bring the cake up and not worry about it. So you're going to put your you're going to put your plastic wrap down. You're going to take your cake out. Going to lay your cake down. And I'm going to make 4 layers out of this. I'm going to cut this in half, put frosting. That's why I said I want to put a lot of frosting, because I want it to be real fluffy. So I'm going to put frosting in between each layer. I'm going to cut this one in half, and I'm going to cut the other one in half. So instead of having one layer for this, I'll have 2 layers. Then I'll have 2 more layers. That would be a 4-layer cake. But I really did it with 2 cakes. So I'm going to fold this up, wrap this up. I'm going to get another piece. This has to cover your whole cake, this plastic wrap. So I'm going to get another piece, and I'm going to put on this cake. I got my daughter helping me, and they can do this better than I can do it, because they're going to school for it, and I'm just self-taught. Anyway, you want to go ahead and wrap this up. Make sure you got your cake totally wrapped up. Then when you totally wrap it up, you want to get some aluminum foil, and this is that cheaper version of aluminum foil, so that's why I have to use 2. If you're using the heavy duty, you only have to use 1. I do have some heavy duty, but that's for my turkey, so I mean, you just use what you got. So I'm gonna go ahead, and I don't think I made this big enough. I could have there, and you're gonna seal this up all the way around. Okay, and then now when you take this cake out, and after that condensation drops off, and if you frost it, they're gonna think you baked this cake the same day, and you didn't. You could have baked it 2 months out, 1 month out. Okay, that's what I want to show you. Someone asked me about a lemon cake. I want to get this made before the holiday. I'm gonna try to get this video posted today so you all can see how this is done. This cake is gonna be very, very good. Comes out the same way. If you do the same thing I did, you're going to get the same results. Bring you something that you can put on your Thanksgiving Day or your Christmas Day table, and you can be happy with the outcome. Okay, I'll see if I can get in a couple more recipes before Thanksgiving, but I want to say happy Thanksgiving to you. And as always, thank you for watching. Chris Cook for you too. Bye.